All right. Now we should be good.
Hey!
All right. Now we should be good. Let's see if. Yeah. Let's see. Ah.
Meantime, I'm gonna tribute Jace the way Jace should be tributed.
Oh, definitely. Go. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Looks like we've got some. Got the people back. Hey.
Hey!
Okay. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, you're getting my face.
There's a rather entertaining picture showing at the moment.
Oh, is that just me and that fucking blood god?
Yes. Yes.
There we go. All right. I think we're all here. I'm seeing all of the volume things happening the way they should. You know, none of that crazy insanity. John took a bond rip with you. You know? But like, oh shit, like, do we need to tell Jason?
Which Jason
Miller,
are we talking
Jason
about?
Miller. How well
Did Jason know Jace?
I don't know. Like I was gonna ask you because I was like, I think he would know better than I would.
I don't remember that Jason knew Jace. The one person that I immediately was like, all right, I need to tell them is Terry, and I can't get hold of her. I've tried to get hold of her on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
You know, damn, I haven't thought of that girl in like ever. Like a couple of decades, I think.
She's cool people.
Yeah. I just never knew her. You know, like that's the way it was. Jack is really quiet. Hold on. Yeah, I think I know what's going on there. All right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, basically in the attempt to like fix whatever stupid thing was going down, I juiced down the input a little too far.
Oops.
You know, oops, yeah. So I'm now learning all the fun of audio and preamps.
The joys of audio.
Oh my fucking god! It's one of those things where it's like, hey, name one thing that didn't necessarily get improved with fucking digital. That would be audio. It's still just as complicated as it ever was.
Oh god, yes. But I mean, the job of an audio engineer is significantly easier today than it was 30, 40 years ago because you also had to be an electrician.
Yes. Yeah, now you don't
have to solder shit together to make it work. I just figure out why the pathways aren't connecting and click the right buttons.
Yeah. Dude, they still have stingers, right?
What do you mean?
The live cord, the stinger. That might be more of a movie thing than a pure audio thing.
Are you talking about like a sound effect?
Mm-mm. No, I'm talking about like the wire that's like, don't touch that, it'll fucking electrocute you.
Yes.
Okay.
That's still a thing.
Okay. Oh man.
Still getting zapped. It's not quite as bad as it used to be, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the chances of you electrocuting the entire band on stage is now at a very, very, very comfortable minimum. It's not as
close as what it was upon a time. Did you see any of that Beatles Get Back?
I didn't, actually. I didn't watch any of that.
Yeah, George got zapped a couple times.
I believe it. You know, you don't do that many tours without having fucking been electrocuted back in them days. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah, the kill wire isn't optional. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Power's got to be going through something. Joys of analog.
And electricity.
Yeah. Oh man, like we've known Jace for like what 30 years, something like that. It's been a long time.
I knew Jace. I'm trying to remember when the first time we started hanging out was. I want to say it was early 90s.
Yeah, I met him in like 91.
Yeah. It was around that area that I met him. And I didn't even know he was in San Francisco. You know, Dave and I picked up and moved out to the Bay Area.
Yeah.
August of 98. And I had a job within the first week I was there. Day 2 on the job, I'm sitting behind the counter at Copy Central. Jace walks in the door and walks up to the counter and looks up at me, and I look down at him, and we both yell, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah, that was at Copy Central down on Market Street, wasn't it?
It was the one right there on Sutter and shit. Which road is that?
Yeah, probably one of them. Yeah, it was downtown, right?
Yeah, it's one of the. It was right next to the Schwab that Dave used to work at.
Oh, I know which one you talked about. I know
exactly the one.
God.
The one with the blue exterior.
Yeah, back when like half the people we knew worked at Charles Schwab.
Yes.
Not as brokers.
Pre-World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Yeah, very pre-World of Warcraft. Dude, like that was at the infancy of the internet, man. You know, that was right during the first .com boom.
Yeah, that when I first got to SF was right in the middle of the original .com craziness.
Yeah, back then we still knew what a baud was. Remember bauds?
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, bauds is a very small unit of fucking data measurement that is not used anymore because there's no point in saying a million bauds. You know? We just say gigabyte.
Or gigabit.
Gigabit, yeah. Technically not the same as...
That was how we measured things when we had to get our internet over the telephone.
Yep.
Back in the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, 90s is calling, man. That's the call of the 90s when you had that shit. I remember when I first, like, fucking got a modem that didn't play that noise. It was just, like, it just said connecting. And I was like, ooh, the future is here. You know?
You know what I remember, Jack?
What?
I remember waking up every morning, turning on my computer in my bedroom, and your naked ass walking in and standing next to me, eating a bowl of cereal, and checking out whatever I was looking at on the computer screen, and just turning to the right, and your dick was like right here.
Yeah. It was kind of like that scene in fucking Zack and Miri Make a Porno, except my dick is not as big. You know?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, Orgasmo probably had to be the most quoted movie in that house, man.
Stud
cock! You know? Oh, my fucking God. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, I think the things that we watched the most were like Orgasmo, fucking Cannibal the Musical, and
with the commentary.
With the commentary, yeah, with the commentary. The fucking Cannibal the Musical with the commentary and fucking Basketball. And all the Kevin Smith movies were essentially being played on a loop in that house.
Quite. Also with commentary on occasion.
Oh, yeah. Because the Kevin Smith commentaries were fucking tits, man.
Back in the day, they were great. Now he does podcasts all the time.
Yeah. And it's sort of like, they're still often good. Like, they get as good as those commentaries, but because it's like an every couple of days kind of thing, It's not
Exactly.
always hitting that mark. My favorite part of the podcast they used to do was Scan BC, where they were just like they would just read the Twitter account of the British Columbia Royal Mounted Police online.
Something to do.
Yeah, and they were like, a man has been caught masturbating wearing nothing but a balaclava. Dude.
And we're not in the middle of San Francisco.
Yeah, we're not in the middle of San Francisco. This is like somewhere in like Toronto, eh? You know? And he's like, oh my God, that's like their Batman villain. Holy shit, it's the fucking Stroker.
The Stroker. Nice.
Yeah. You know, and of course, like, fucking Steve, what's his name? The producer.
Scott Mosier?
Scott Mosier. Yeah, Scott Mosier's like, what are you talking about, Kevin? That is their Batman.
I will never forget that time it was in the middle of Folsom Street Fair, and so there was the big party.
Oh, yeah.
At our place, as there always was.
Well, like that, Folsom Street Fair, there was a party at our place whether we were ready for it or not.
Because we were literally right in the middle of it.
Yeah, we were literally right off Folsom Street, like not 50 feet away from it. So,
right, 8th and Folsom, the epicenter of this thing.
Yeah. So like, people be like, "Are you gonna be at Folsom Street Fair?" I'm like, "Am I gonna have a choice? You know, like I gotta leave the house at some point."
But you reminded me of that time. It was some friend of the house showed up, and I guess it was not somebody who normally frequents the Folsom Street Fair. And I opened the door, and this guy's ghost white, and I'm like, "Are you okay, dude?" And he goes, "I was just outside, and there was like 3 old naked men sitting at the corner masturbating. And I went over and told a cop that these guys were standing in the middle of the street, like masturbating. And the cop yells at me, "Hey, this is their day."
Yeah, that's how we used to do it.
That is accurate.
You know, that is how we used to do it. That's why when I hear like people online talking about like, well, do we really need, what about the children? I'm like, oh, kiss my ass, man. Asking for one day out of 365 or 64, depending on whether or not it's a leap year. Fuck you. You know, come on. I'm sure you can keep your kids at home.
Censorship is a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like, but yeah. There's like a lot of fucking the Bay Area assholes who are now like, well, I think maybe it's going a little too far. And I'm like, you need to fucking shut the fuck up right now. I don't know where you came from.
These are the same people that would move into a building right next to a nightclub and get the nightclub shut down because it was too loud. And it's like, dude,
you moved next to a nightclub. And I don't say that and we don't say that being like not knowing what it's like. We lived literally next door to a major nightclub.
Roommates, we literally lived right next to a nightclub.
Yeah, and we knew what the rule was.
Louder from midnight to 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Louder and louder and louder, and we had to, like, get used to that.
Yeah, there were a few times where we complained, but, like, first of all, we never called the cops. We're always just like, yo.
Hey, Fernando.
Doug. Yeah, Fernando. Yo, Fernando, I can't hear myself think upstairs, okay? I need to take it down just a bit, you know? Soundproof your walls a little bit better if you want to be louder or anything like that. Come on, man. Like, it's fucking 1 a.m. You've got another 2 hours.
And they're going to turn it up louder.
Yeah, you're going to turn it up louder, so I'm going to need you to cap it here. You know?
I got used to it eventually.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing was, is after, like, doing that twice over the course of like actually a couple of years. Like they found the cap off point. It's like we could be this loud, and nobody gives a fuck. You know, like no one's gonna complain. We certainly weren't, but we could still hear the music from the fucking apartment. What?
I said we did, but to ourselves.
But to ourselves, yeah.
They didn't complain when random white gas bottles that were on fire came flying down to their wall and caught shit on fire. So I guess we had to be cool to them too.
Yeah, yeah. we had a strange relationship. Yeah, because like definitely there were a lot of times when there were like pyrotechnics and shit happen at our place, you know.
Lunch boxes getting stolen.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I was actually talking to some of the guys who used to do the cat club shit, like when we were doing it. They were like, you guys were simultaneously the best and worst thing that happened to the nightclub. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, okay, here's the thing.
We'd have a great party and half the nightclub would empty out and come over to our party.
Exactly, but everyone knew that was the corner. You know, so on days where you weren't fucking draining the club, like we were doing great, but it's like, oh god damn it, they're having a party again. And that's what it didn't help that like half the people who ran the event were also invited, so they were like, fuck this shit.
Exactly. There's cool people and drugs and sex. Let's go over there.
Yeah. Let's do it though. John's like, you just lived in a Vampire the Masquerade module. Oh, dude, you have no idea. Dude, John, you're a friend. We haven't talked about half the fucking insanity that happened. Like me and John are working on a game right now that comes out of a lot of this experience. You know, and a lot of people are like, whoa, this shit's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's all from life.
It all happened. Dude, there's so many amazing and hilarious memories that just pop into my head from being at the parties at the former House of Rebel Angels /
Castle Funkenstein.
Like, so many memories of us owing each other out the window and just
back before people associated that with Nazi shit. Good God,
used to associate that with Nazi.
I do too. But like, when I fucking found out that Nazis had fucking like appropriated the O game, I fucking went ballistic. Like, yeah, like I went fucking ballistic because I'm just like, oh no. No. You don't get to say that you fucking made that shit up.
No, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit.
For a long time.
Oh
God, dude. For my friend Jesse coming over during the Halloween party, and Sam was dressed as Dr. Clownstein, and Jesse had that like insane fear of clowns. So he'd like constantly leave the room and Sam would follow him.
Yeah.
That was the best, dude. Just watching him uncomfortably move to another room and Sam would just
Yeah. Sam, he had a business card. He would come as his character that he created called Dr. Clownstein. And he had a business card that said Clownstein. What was it? General practitioner, abortions, and birthdays.
You know, he'd come in his doctor's coat and a clown wig and crazy clown makeup.
Yeah, I'm the one who inherited that costume.
That's awesome.
Sitting in storage, you know, because I'm like, I can't get rid of this. I can't get rid of this. You know, like this is. Damn, we've actually used the stethoscope in a couple of sketches.
Nice.
You know, anytime like either me or Josh is dressed in like a white lab coat and a stethoscope, that's the Dr. Clownstein outfit. You know, our little tribute to the man. Oh man. Oh, funny enough, a person that I started getting along with, you would not believe was Richard. I know, right? He did the thing. He did the thing that I was like, yeah, he did the thing. Which
They do the thing.
what was that?
People so rarely do the
Yeah,
thing.
favorite people so rarely do the thing, which is basically, I'm so sorry. I'm so
I would,
sorry. I was a dick. That
or
was
even
wrong.
just I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. I even did the like, no, get on your knees and beg, and he did, and I'm like, okay, cool, because like that's all I wanted.
Yeah, there's some people that I'm sure you can think of at least one or two of them.
Oh, I can think of a couple.
Uh, yeah, that wouldn't work for me.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't care. Just
Oh well, like I mean, like if Richard had done something as fucked up as like Roland did to you, like there would be no opportunity. You know. Good God.
rolling.
Roland? You remember fucking Roland? No, Ronaldo. Sorry. I misnamed him. I said Roland when I meant Ronaldo.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah, fuck that guy. Didn't he go to prison?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he did get locked up for a year for attacking his former girlfriend, also my former girlfriend.
Yeah. Like he pulled a fast Eddie on her, didn't he?
He followed her into her house and attacked her. And then when it started to come out in our old crowd, they said she was crazy. That may well be the case, but she ain't
I'm not
lying.
saying, yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's where I was. I was like,
He
I'm
went
not saying she's not
for it.
crazy, but I totally believe motherfucker did that shit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Like, which was, I still can't believe he did a fast Eddie. I like that. I mean, I believe it, but I'm like,
Them
what?
in because Fast Eddie never came back and tried to say, I never did anything wrong.
Oh yeah, he knew he fucked up.
He admitted
Big.
that he did his time, and the fact that he died mostly alone was a fucking horrible thing because nobody deserves that.
Yeah. But you know why it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why it happened.
I know exactly what happened. I know all of the facts and all the players, and I'm not condoning what he did or saying he did anything that he shouldn't be called to task for, but he was called to task for it, and he recognized that he did wrong, and he did everything he could to try and make amends for what he did.
Yeah.
Ronaldo did no such thing.
Oh no.
Ronaldo
No, he didn't.
tried to
Holy
act like it
crap.
never happened. He tried to gaslight all of us.
Yeah. Like, oh god, that whole fucking scenario, man. That was just
Yeah.
yeah. The shit that goes down in the SCA. Like
Well, and even just that scene, and I'm sure it's a byproduct of the fact that it was mostly surrounding the Washington D.C. area, and just the social dynamic there is so full of people that think that the world owes them everything, and it's okay to act however you want and affect other people in any way that you do because you've justified to yourself why it's okay.
yeah.
And that's like one of the main reasons I left DC. But the fact that that social environment is so prevalent there plays into why that scene has got so many fucked up people in it.
Oh yeah. Well, like it's pretty much disintegrated at this point. It was.
For the most part, yeah.
You know.
There's still a scene of people that gathers on occasion and has events and does things, but it's not as united as it was back in the 80s and 90s.
Oh no, and I don't think it will. I don't think it'll ever be again. Like
Oh God.
not anytime soon. Anyway,
And,
you
and
know.
it's really because when that scene of people first started, it was so full of openness. It was so full of, hey, you're one of us. You know, come in,
Yeah, yeah.
part of this. And it very quickly turned into everything that we as a group hated.
Well, yeah, because like everyone who was really like that kind of left, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, look, I know you hate the guy, and I understand why. I'm not even gonna fucking
Say his name, Red Steve.
Red Steve. Yeah, I'm like Red Steve is fucking Red Steve is a gatekeeper is really fucking useful when you got better people holding the reins. But as soon
Right.
as he's the one in charge, it's gonna go to shit because he's not he can't be nice.
No,
Yeah,
his
he's not welcoming at all. He's an asshole. That's why he was valuable. That's why he was valuable in one situation, but not so much in another.
he's valuable in a situation where somebody needed their back gotten.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
Exactly.
saying that he wasn't a guy that would do that because I know of several times where that was the case and he did that for people.
Yeah.
Not for me, but whatever.
Fair.
No, I didn't have a problem with the guy until he started with the putting machetes in people's faces and
Yeah, what was up with that? I think I was gone by that point.
so I showed up at it was I believe it was my last Cambodia party with a couple of friends from Springfield, one of whom was Kevin Bausch. If you knew him, I love Kevin. He was an amazingly cool dude. So easy to get along with. He was never aggressive to anybody unless they gave him reason to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hanging out there at the party and
Not my problem.
I believe one of my friends showed up there and wasn't feeling well, and that was a mark against my friends. And the next thing I know, Steve's coming up and giving me shit because my friends are causing problems. And he turns around and sticks a machete in Kevin Bausch's face. And he's like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing at my party? Why do you have a right to be here? And I'm like, let us say I handled it rather aggressively.
Well, I mean, yeah, like if we're at machete time, that's go time.
Yeah, and I told off and I grabbed my friends and we left.
Yeah, I think I missed that one. I wasn't at that one. I'm pretty sure I would have known if I had been at that one.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I didn't have fun at Cambodia when it first started, and I was considered one of the cool kids that got invited to the parties there. Like, I did have a lot of fun there. I still have a lot of good friends to this.
I got invited because I just happened to be fucking like a girl that like lived there or was friends with somebody who did.
Who?
Well, at one point that was little Sarah.
Oh, I knew.
At one point, there were some others, but that was the main one.
I got in a lot of trouble with her at one of those parties over a misunderstanding.
Oh man, I will tell you, she ran hot and cold. Let me tell you.
I will say though, I adore her. I think she's an incredibly brilliant human being. I love reading her blog that she does about this area and the historic buildings here. And I hope at some point here in the near future to interrupt her from her blog writing, librarian, French Stewart, child sitting busy schedule and just kind of bounce around the town and hear a lot of her stories about these old buildings because she has a lot.
Yeah. Are she still did she move to LA or?
Yeah, she's been out here for a while.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Yep. Dang. Yeah, like I know, like the only three people I
as
know.
long or maybe just a little bit less long as Amelia's been out.
Yeah, I was about to say, like the only three people I really know that from the old scene that live in California that I don't live with are
Right.
Amelia, Forrest, and Jason. You know,
Bells is down here.
what? Bells is still alive?
Yeah, dude, Bells has been in LA for almost as long as we've been in California.
Holy shit! I thought that guy died.
No. No. Actually, he's been in LA a long time.
Holy shit! Whoa!
Do you know
show what I know. Damn.
Do you know Lindsay? I know you were up in that
Who?
Maryland area. Bruce Lindsay.
What, are you talking about Vantech Bruce?
Not Bruce Every. No.
Oh no! Right. That's Bruce
I know
Every.
you know Bruce Every.
Yeah. I was about to say. There were too many hijinks at too many conventions not to know Bruce Every. But no, I don't think I knew Bruce Lindsay.
Gotcha.
Unless he went by Bruss.
He did not.
Okay, then no, I don't.
Crafty dude. He's been doing Electric Candy for the last like 10 some odd years.
I have no idea. What's Electric Candy?
He does like costume jewelry. A lot of it is glow in the dark, based out of like vacuum formed plexiglass type stuff.
Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah. And Bruce is a cool dude.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
Jay Tilton's like waving around a machete is kind of a Cambodia thing. Oh, yeah. So are live firearms.
And any stories that you've heard about them are probably true. There was a hole in one of the closet ceilings because Johnny accidentally...
Johnny Rotten. Not Johnny Rotten.
Johnny Rotten.
Not Johnny Rotten. Fucking...
Slaughter.
Fuck, but what do we call it?
Slaughter. Johnny Slaughter.
Johnny Slaughter. Yeah, Johnny Slaughter. God damn it. I was
Slaughter did indeed blow us a hole in that ceiling. I was at that.
Well, I remember Amelia telling me, he's like, did you know we got our security deposit back? And I was like, how did you score that one? She's like, no idea. But I didn't argue.
Crashed within the first year they lived there. Like, utterly trashed.
Oh, dude. Like, yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't major structural damage. You know, like, there were definitely... There were definitely enough holes in the fucking wall.
It was the real life equivalent of the young one's house. 100.
Oh, fuck yeah! It's
worse than
is it a window or is it just that hole in the wall we've been meaning to fix? You decide.
Jump through it. Find out.
Jump through it. Find out. Hey, this is a neat place for a doorway. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh god. Well, that was still a brilliant moment. Like that right there. I'm like, no, that's how you fucking tell white supremacists to fuck off. What?
I said there were a lot of brilliant moments at their parties. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I got them heavy boobs, heavy boobs.
Oh my god.
Why is there anime showing on over our faces?
Oh, it's one of my alerts.
Stanton.
Wait. Stanton?
Stanton McClandish?
McCandlish. Yeah, Stanton, is that you?
Is that you?
Is that you, Stanton? Like, because I only know, like, one S. McCandlish.
Then that's probably him.
Yeah, that's probably him. Holy shit. Oh, yeah. We can get you in. Like, are we still connected on Facebook? I'm like confused. You know, like I was not expecting that, you know.
Expecting this.
Yeah, man, talk about once again, talk about blast from the past. You know, back when Well, let's face it, Jim. You never had hair.
Not as long as you've known me.
Yeah, no.
I had my head shaved clean since, well, I did have the little braid going in the back for a long time, but yeah, I've had this whole thing gone since well before you knew me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
We met because of
Jace. Yeah, we met because you ran into Jace and you were like,
Because
"Oh
of
hey."
that chance meeting. And the next thing I knew, I met you guys. And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. That did not take long. You know, that was that was very easy.
Covered our mutual sense of humor. You and I were like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we both had like a really like off kilter, weird, crude sense of humor.
quite.
Oh man, like oh god, a lot. There were people thrown out of the out of the fucking party to respect my authority.
More than once.
More than once. Oh my god. Yeah.
But nobody was thrown out for stealing in the lunchbox.
Oh my god, the lunchbox. A day that will go down in infamy is that lunchbox incident.
Absolutely.
You know, like that was God damn it.
You would think that would have taught me that dating said person would have been a bad idea, but did I learn my lesson that day?
Not that day. Not that day.
Oh, it was a few months later.
Oh, dude. Like one of the things that like I told you I ran into her like years later, right?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in a few years myself.
Yeah. Well, I ran into her like almost like 10 years after the fact. And I was at like Wicked Grounds, and this vaguely familiar girl like comes in, starts talking to me, and I start realizing it's Savoy. You know, well, the first thing that freaked me out was the fact that her front teeth were missing. And I'm like, I know you're not as old as I am. You know, this seems, I know you're still in like your mid 30s. This seems a little early. You know, and she was not, obviously not doing that. Survey says meth. That's what survey fucking says. And she was trying to convince me that she was a good mom, but like she got arrested for a DUI on the way to her court date to discuss custody of her kid. And I'm like, are you though? Are you though? Because I'm pretty sure that's a bad idea. I'm pretty sure that's the one day where I'd be like, no. No, I'm definitely not driving. You know, like showing up drunk is bad enough. Like the judge is already not going to look kindly on that. But you got arrested for DUI on the way to the court date. Okay. All right. Well, that's what you get for saying you wouldn't go out with me because I was Chinese.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, so I'm like, well, okay then. You know.
Liar!
Anton! Fire! Oh, dude. Like, I go through periods of time and I really wish I had done that.
That wouldn't be recently, would it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah, it'd be recently. You know? All right, so what Jim is making reference to is the fact that I had a WonderCon back in, like, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Like 99, 2000, that area.
Yeah. It was right after
Firefly.
Yeah, it was right after Firefly. I went to a talk early because it was going to be like Kevin Smith was going to be talking, and I love listening to Kevin Smith talk.
For like 4 hours.
Yeah. But I get there like early, and it's like still the Joss Whedon panel. And one of the things that had always bugged me about Firefly is the fact there's all this Chinese stuff in the show, but no Chinese actors.
Except
for like one. Yeah.
Like, occasionally there'd be one in the background.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, dude.
Every single person on the show could speak fluent Chinese. As the story in the show went, Chinese culture had become so prevalent upon all humanity that everybody learned how to speak Chinese.
Yeah, everyone spoke Mandarin. And yet, no major Asian characters.
Not one.
Like, definitely not a speaking role. You know, and I was like, dude, like that's the definition of appropriation. Like, what the fuck? And so one guy, I was like, no, Jack, don't cause a scene. Don't cause a scene. Don't cause a scene.
Cause a scene.
I really wanted to cause a scene. Where basically a guy come up, he's like, ask the same question that I was going to ask. You know, heck, how come no Asian people with speaking roles in this damn thing? You know, the Asian shit all over the place. What the fuck is up with that? And Joss Whedon, you know, ever the company man, just said, well, these are the actors we hired. And I almost stood up and screamed, liar, liar, pants on fire. But I restrained myself, and I kind of regret it. You know? Like, God, yeah, that whole bullshit. Like, good fucking God. I'm like, you
I'm a little astounded at everything that's come out about him.
Like, I'm not.
There's a lot.
Yeah. The extent of it, I think, is surprising. But, like, any one incident, I'm like, nah, I believe it. You know, wasn't that hard for me to swallow.
I believe it. It's just, damn.
Yeah. Like, there's some, well, particularly, like, the misogyny shit.
Kind of a celebrity himself. Because people got the impression he was one of us. He was a cool guy. And he passed himself off that way for a long time. Meanwhile, he was pulling some shady shit behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, super shady shit. You know. Yeah, Jack bet on the right horse on that one. Yeah, so I kind of wish it had been immortalized. Like, that would have been my spoony betrayal fucking moment.
Especially if somebody caught it on tape.
Oh, yeah, and there are people filming that shit, too. You know, I mean, of course, it was a fucking Comic-Con in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s. There were fucking videotape all over the place. You know. Good fucking God. But, yeah. You know, that's why I was, that was like, man, I miss when I didn't have to fucking, like, worry about how racist a fandom was.
Or sexist.
Or sexist, yeah. Yeah, any of that, you know, where you just sort of like, whoa, take it easy. Like, you know. Well, it's also people being weird and talking about, like, oh, you're just not allowed to do, like, this kind of stuff anymore. And it's like, I don't think you ever had the option, to be totally honest, because, like, we never did that shit, and we got hella laid. I mean, definitely not as much as we would have wanted, but that just means it wasn't happening on tap.
I mean, I'm not going to say that was never a priority in my life, but most of the time, like, having a quality of relationship was always more important to me than numbers.
Oh well, yeah, but what I mean is, it's not necessarily your number one, but it's always number two.
It's always up there.
It's always up there. Oh, speaking of which, yeah, I think I'm gonna refresh my libation. I'll be right back.
Whee! I feel like I have a duty to be entertaining, and I don't know what to talk about. Yeah, I got nothing. None of my trinkets here in front of me are particularly interesting to be able to show you or talk about. I have sonic screwdrivers. Sonic screwdriver. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. Like the fact that there was a Joss can't be alone in a room with Dawn was kind of messed up. Michelle Trachtenberg, that's her name. I'm not that wasted. You know, I don't really know what's up. Jack was running off to go get a beverage, and he left me here alone with a screen that I can barely read. I can't even see who's asking what's up because it's a little too blurry. Amen to that. The old adage. Cheers to that. Hey, Jack's back.
All right, were you good for that 5 minutes?
I was trying to be entertaining. I don't know if I did that successfully or not.
Yeah. See, someone said the old adage is true. Sex is like playing gin rummy. If you don't have a good partner, you better have a good hand. TAM when Jack gives his guests abandonment issues. Well, yeah.
I did feel abandoned.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
It's all good.
I'm sorry, brother. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Like, I don't know how many times.
This is my first time.
Yeah.
Not just typing, you're not allowed to rent here anymore.
Yeah. Well, like, oh, God, I don't know how many times I've told this story about, like, I'll do it if you let me suck your dick.
Now, suck my cock.
That was, oh, no. That was beautiful because you absolutely called his bluff. You know, so for those of you who might not know, I'm sure, which is almost none of you, there used to be like every house in the 90s played gay chicken, whether or not there was a gay guy involved. You know, like that's just the way it was. Now, Jace would generally play to win, you know, which a lot of people weren't prepared for. However, there was one time, like he would just basically, someone would say, "Hey, Jace, could you do this?" He'd be like, "I'll do it if you let me suck your dick." Now, here's the thing. Generally speaking, the man was good for it. You know, but occasionally, he would be fucking around with his friends who he didn't feel that way about. And so then one of his friends, this man right here, just drops trow.
Called him on it.
Oh my god, his fucking reaction was priceless. Oh my god! All right, no, I'm going. Oh my god!
Called his bluff. Didn't actually want him to suck my dick, but
Yeah.
I knew I would win on the calling him on his bluff.
Yeah, because you're like, nah, I'm pretty sure if he wanted to suck my dick, he'd have made that a little bit more obvious.
Right, by now.
Pretty sure it would have just happened.
7:30 in the morning.
Oh, dude, 7:30 in the morning trying to get fucking, what was it? We're trying to get like Philly cheese steaks after like fucking being up for what, like 36 hours on fucking acid or something.
From that, oh god, what was that place called? Whizwit.
Whizwit, yeah. Whizwit.
Yeah, I remember Whizwit.
Yep. Holy crap. We called there so early. They were like, dude, we open in like an hour, and you were like, but we're high now. Oh.
We need food, man.
Man, come on. The hell's up with this? Don't you know what it's like to be high on weed at 6:30 in the morning? Okay, yeah, okay. You'll have to pick it up though. And that's where Jace came in. Oh. Oh my god.
The place was good though.
Oh yeah, it was. It was. It's good stuff. Well, because they made it with cheese whiz, as God intended.
If you wanted it that way, you didn't have to.
Yeah, you didn't have to have it that way. You could be a fucking heretic about it and like fucking blaspheme in front of cheese whiz God.
After how you order a cheesesteak with cheese whiz on it and not get cheese whiz.
Oh yeah, you gotta be that. There's gonna be problems. You know, there's gonna be issues. Oh man, I found out that Chicago, like, you know how we joke about that kind of shit? Apparently Chicago takes that shit seriously.
Chicago is very serious about the things that they love, in my experience.
Yeah, like I wasn't ready for it. They were like, you don't put ketchup on a hot dog, and you're like, what? What do you mean you don't put ketchup on a hot dog? What kind of fucking bullshit is this?
Peppers and onions and pepper on a poppy seed bun.
Yep.
That's how they roll.
Yep, and you have to do it that way every time.
Apparently.
Yeah, so much so that they have like signs in restaurants. It's like, we don't put ketchup on our hot dogs. You're like, whoa.
Ketchup on a hot dog, you will not be served.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, take it easy. You know, it's. I've never seen a place take its city style anything so goddamn seriously as Chicago. You know, it's like Chicago style pizza, Chicago style hot dog, Chicago style burrito, Chicago style chili.
Chicago pizza.
What was that?
There's 3 different kinds of Chicago pizza.
Yep. But like, I'm not yet. Like when you go to New York, you know what they call New York style pizza? Pizza. You know what they call California style pizza in California? Pizza. You know, if you go to Chicago, it's still Chicago style pizza. You're like, I feel like you're compensating for something, man. You know, the rest of the cities aren't doing this shit. You know, they're just like, nope, this is the way it was intended to be, and fuck you. And that's like just the end of the story.
Style chili, I'm sure, is called Cincinnati chili in Cincinnati. So
That's a good point. Well, that is so unusual. The way that's eaten is so specific. You know, for those of you who don't know what Cincinnati style chili is, it involves spaghetti
with cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the chili has cinnamon in it.
Chili has yeah, like I always thought that was. I understood why, but at the same time, I always thought that was weird.
It's a bed of spaghetti, smothered in chili, and then they cover that with this insane layer of shredded cheddar cheese.
Yeah, and then onions on top of that.
Onions.
Yeah, and like to the point where you're just like,
you're generally speaking,
looks like a fucking chili gnome, you know, like.
Beans is actually something you order extra if you want it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one of them places where, like, chili don't got beans in it. You know, 2 places chili don't got beans in it, Cincinnati and Texas. You know?
No, they have beans in the chili in Texas.
Oh,
I got to tell you, for all of the hype I've heard about Texas food, living in Texas for a year, the only thing that was true about is grilled meat. I'll tell you that right now. Texans know how to grill some fucking meat.
Oh, I believe it.
But all the mess about Texas Mexican food or Tex-Mex, as they call it, being the best Mexican food you'll get.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man.
Complete horseshit.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'm pretty sure the best Mexican food in fucking the United States is in San Francisco.
Texas. Tex-Mex is bland. It just is. Go to San Francisco, go to Mission Street, enjoy.
Hell, fucking like Arizona's got better Mexican food and get right down to it.
Damn.
You know, it does.
Jack's putting it to you people.
Oh, yeah. No. Tex-Mex is I don't know. My feeling on Tex-Mex is basically you put 2 things together and you got them both wrong at the same time. Which I don't know how you got the Tex part wrong either, you know, but hey, they found a way. Like, you know, if that was the Alamo, they'd have forgotten all about that shit.
For real.
Just
because the tortilla doesn't make it Mexican food.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, well, like
that meat properly, man. That's key, and they're not doing that, which is odd to me because they clearly know how to season their meat. I've had some barbecue in Texas that was out of this freaking world.
Yeah, exactly. So you're like, how did you fuck that part up?
The best fucking barbecue I've ever had. Period.
Oh yeah, I believe it. It's
called the Country Store. It's in Austin. I highly recommend
the Carnosaur.
No, the Country Store.
Oh, the Country Store. I was like the Carnosaur. That sounds awesome.
The Carnosaur.
Yeah, the Carnosaur. We grill meat.
Makers.
You don't need anything else. You know, that salad's really just for digestive purposes.
That's just to make it pass through a little easier.
How do you mess up a quesadilla? I know, right? I've seen some places fuck up a quesadilla, not the least of which is fucking Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's not real Mexican food. Taco Bell is American Mexican food.
No.
I mean, its staple is the ground beef, the ground beef seasoned with cumin and salt. That's like every other American Mexican food.
Yeah, because you're like, dude, give me a little fucking chili seasoning at least. Jesus fucking Christ.
For real.
You know? Then again, like, we're kind of like, we used to be like spice cultists.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Can't keep doing it.
On way too far with this shit now. When the Scoville scale is up in the millions, like, I'm out.
Oh, dude, I had one that was in like 400,000, and that fucking shit laid me out for like 24 hours. I was like, oh God. Like, I thought the worst thing that was going to happen was going to be in the beginning and at the end. No, all the way through, baby.
Whew. Yeah, you did the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
You look through the whole path.
Whew. Oh, yeah. Like, you really do feel like you're going to die. You know? Now, just to give you an idea of how hot 400,000 Scovilles is, me and Jim used to have a contest every time we went to Indian restaurant, which we would have them fill up a small glass filled with vindaloo sauce, and we get like a Foster's or some other kind of whatever lager they had. And the idea was drink as much of the vindaloo sauce just straight before you had
You touch the lager.
yeah, before you touch the lager. Now, I'm not that was kind of a game that nobody won.
Unfortunately, we were young enough that we didn't have to deal with the all the way through consequences.
Exactly. So like I'm used to high levels of spice, but when it gets to like 400,000, apparently I'm just like, nah, I gotta tap out. Like this is too much.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. No thanks.
Yeah, too much, man. Oh God.
Molly, go White Castle in that there, Tennessee.
Oh, she's talking to Town Eccentric's talking to Joker. Joker lives in Tennessee.
God.
Yeah.
This White Castle.
New Mexico green chili with Navajo fry bread is amazing. Actually, no, Jay Tilton, you're actually right. Like Mexican, green chili with fucking Navajo fry bread. It's great. The only problem I have is I tried cooking fry bread on my own. That was one of my bread things I tried to do during fucking COVID. Then I realized I have no idea what fry bread tastes like on its own. I had no fucking clue.
I know.
Oh, okay. Is it supposed to taste like fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken biscuits?
Ish. With obviously a crunchier outer texture.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the idea. And you put like some kind of topping on it, like apple topping or strawberry topping or whatever.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah. Flashman's like, that's your brain telling you your colon isn't 20 anymore, Jack. Well, at least I know you're talking from experience there, Flashman. Oh, my God.
Fried bread at the Maryland Renaissance Festival way back in the day.
Oh, shit. Man. Oh, damn, that's going back into time. That's the Wayback Machine.
Oh, yeah. Still there, though.
Really? Still suck?
I don't know. I haven't been in 24, 25, 26 years, something like that.
Yeah, like, I don't know what to say, though. Like, I saw, like, one Renaissance Festival in, like, fucking L.A., and they were all, like, elves and dwarves and wizards and shit, and they seemed to be having a great time.
Well,
Meanwhile, the Maryland Renaissance Festival is giving you shit over whether or not you're wearing black and whether that's period. And I'm like, I think I'm having a period listening to you.
got a little ridiculous.
Oh, God, super fucking ridiculous.
It used to be a very chill, fun place to go, but I definitely started feeling unwelcome there.
Well, yeah, because it's like I was saying with Red Steve, you can't have the gatekeepers in charge of shit. The minute you have the gatekeepers in charge of shit, everything goes to crap.
Yep.
Because all they know is keeping people out.
Speaking of gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Fifth Column?
Fuck yeah.
Do you remember to the left of the main stage in the big room, there was a doorway that went back to other areas, and there was a big fucking dude that like was the gatekeeper of that doorway?
Oh, dude, no, I only went like once or twice. So I don't remember
hair.
it that way. I don't remember it that well.
Tall motherfucker, long hair, mustache and beard.
It sounds like the right kind of guy to be there,
That guy
Yeah.
was Dave Bautista.
What?
That blows people's mind when I tell them. Yes,
Whoa. Are you fucking serious?
I'm 100% serious. It was Dave Bautista.
Yeah, no shit. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Damn. I didn't. All right, two things just happened at once. I'm like, damn, that's amazing. Two, I didn't realize he was that old.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
You know?
yeah. He's been around for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I knew he was older than me, but I didn't realize like by that much. You know? Okay. Yeah. There goes your nerdy childhood. Yeah. Fucking Dave Bautista was fucking a bouncer at a club that had largely had mainly goth kids and dudes who secretly played D&D. Yeah. WWE champion Destroyer Dave Bautista. That's apparently who we're talking about.
Dave Bautista.
Oh my
AKA Drax the Destroyer.
damn. I wonder what happened to Slash, man. I haven't seen that guy in a hot minute.
I'm trying to remember the last thing I heard about him. I mean, it's been so long.
I know. It's been for fucking ever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that is a section of the crowd that, I mean, he was one of Steve's close friends, so that wasn't a section of the crowd that I frequented very often. I did not know.
Yeah. I knew Slash and Steve. I knew you knew Slash. You knew Steve different than I did. You know, because I was, how to put it, like I was one of Linda's friends at that point.
Right.
That put me in a different category, you know. I never had a problem with Steve, but I could easily see how people would have a problem with him. You know, not hard at all.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just openly bash the guy when he's not here to have a voice to defend himself. You know what I mean? But yeah, we didn't get along. We did at first when the crowd was that it's open to everybody. Let's all be friends. It doesn't matter who you are and what you're into, as long as you're a dick and you're not infringing on anybody else's right to enjoy themselves. You're welcome here. And Steve was a cool guy to hang out with at that point.
Yeah. But once, it's really odd because it's like the people really holding that together were like Linda and Amelia. They were the ones holding that attitude together for the longest time.
Holding which attitude together?
The welcoming attitude.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but everybody was at that point when it started. Mm-hmm. Like 88, 89. The whole crowd was just wide open. People from totally different walks of life were there and welcome and a part of it and made to feel a part of it. And that changed once it became the Cool Kids Club.
Yeah. Once it became the Kitty and Steve show, you know, that changed a lot.
A little bit later.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, like you can see how it was turned in that direction. You know. Which is really weird, which is a little odd because like I think most of the people that were part of that crowd are still in DC.
A lot of them are. Johnny's still there.
I thought Johnny died. Slaughter, right? We're talking about Johnny Slaughter, right?
Did he?
I think he did. Yeah, like he was in like a wheelchair the last couple of years of his life.
Well, yeah, he lost a leg because of a motorcycle accident.
Yep. Yeah, then he became a Trump supporter. It was weird. You know, that's one of those, Johnny, really? Like, are you okay, man? Like, what's going on?
I mean, there's posts from him as recently as a couple of days ago. So
okay, then clearly I'm wrong.
Yeah,
clearly I'm fucking wrong then. Yeah, although I do remember when fucking Dirk died, man, that was horrible.
The anniversary of that is in 24 hours.
No worries. Oh, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. Okay, for those of you playing at home, you don't know what was that?
Buck February.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you who are playing at home, don't know what we're talking about. Dirk was a guy that we
Smiler.
knew. What?
Dirk Smiler.
Yeah, Dirk Smiler was a dude that we knew in the DC scene. He was killed by his girlfriend. Shot in the fucking face.
By his militarily trained girlfriend who had been trained that you don't point a gun at somebody unless you intend to shoot them, and you never put your finger on the trigger unless you intend to kill the person you've got the gun pointed at.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
But what do you know? Yeah, I know. It was well, that there was well the minute it was like, oh, Dirk's dating her, it was one of those. Are you sure that's a good idea? You know, I only knew her by reputation, and so it was one of those like, Dirk has many fine qualities, but being able to create a stable relationship is not one of them. Yeah. You know, like, it's one of those, like, and that girl is crazy.
Indeed.
Like, legitimately crazy. And it was like, oh, no, you're misjudging her. Years later, look who was right. You know. Yeah, I remember that crap. You know, some people going, oof, yeah.
He was a good dude.
Yeah. He could be.
He was the guy that in the middle of a party, if he cared about you and he saw you weren't having a good time, he would pull you aside and spend an hour with you.
Yeah. If you were his friend, he was a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Dirk was a gem. I fucking miss the shit out of him. Still. 12 years later.
Oh, Jesus, it's really been that long. Oh, fuck it.
It has been 12 years.
It's been 12 years. Fuck. Damn. Oh, fuck, dude. I'm 47.
And it's further unfortunate that his death triggered an even further splintering of the people in the scene because of the way certain people reacted to it.
Oh, well, there was no, that didn't surprise me at all.
Any of the details of that.
Yeah. I knew that was going to fucking happen because, like, for everyone that loved him, there was someone who had a grudge against him.
Conversation with you and you saying that very thing.
Yep.
At that point 12 years ago.
Yeah. No, I stand by it. It's like, how to put it, like, yes, no one held a grudge like fucking DC people.
I think there's probably a good reason for that, and it has something to do with what I was talking about earlier, that there's so many people in that area, not just the crowd we were in, that have no problem acting in ways that will adversely affect people around them, as long as they felt like they had come to some random stretch of a fucking justification for their actions.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and do whatever they wanted, and it makes sense that that would foster an attitude of grudge holding.
Yeah,
because people were really shitty to each other, and still are in that scene.
Yeah,
fortunately, I hear random stories about things that happen in that crowd of people all the time. Bad, horrible things.
Yeah. The one that, like, freaked me out the most was when the narking started happening. That one started freaking me out. You know, we were long gone by that point. Like,
okay, that would be why I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. No, there was a period of time when, like, grudges were being held and, like, the DEA was being called.
Wow.
Yeah, I found out about that way after the fact because I was like, I'm glad I wasn't there for that shit.
No doubt.
You know, like holy crap. It's like you gonna take it that far?
Do we need to be that petty?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do we need to be that petty? And also, dude, this is also the period of time where it was like, dude, if you're so high you lost your car because you couldn't remember where you parked.
Yeah, that's on you.
That's on you. You know, like that's your problem. You know, like you need to fucking rethink your goddamn life.
If you can't manage your recreation, you have no business doing it.
Yeah, so, Town Eccentric's like, they Post Maloned it? Yeah, they Post Maloned it. You know, like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what in the entire hell? That's like that's the first commandment you've broken right there. You know, like, thou shalt not be a fucking snitch.
Snitches get
Stitches. Like, what are you doing?
Or as our friends on the other side of the pond like to say, snitches end up in ditches.
Snitches end up in ditches. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? And I'm pretty sure I know who did it, but I got no proof. I've just got instinct.
We'll have to talk about that off air.
Yeah. We'll talk about that off air. It's not anyone I've ever talked about anyway, so like no one here would get anything out of it. You know, because people who I come in that category, I just don't mention anymore. I just don't mention them on air.
Which is why that special someone hasn't gotten mentioned.
Woo! Woo, Lordy!
You want to hear me go off for about an hour?
Yeah. Oh my!
You know what's really fucked, bro?
What?
After going through what I went through in Texas with that insane evil fucking bitch Laura fucking Luciano, and if you're friends with her, don't be. You're a fucking idiot. Get away from her.
Dude, I'm still like fucking tripping over like the fucking you live with like her dad, right? And like
her dad,
yeah,
that so happened to be Michael Jackson's A&R rep when he was with Epic Records. This is no bullshit.
No, I believe it. I'm just like, how the mighty have fallen.
He had pictures of him with Bubbles. He was telling me stories about hanging out with Michael in the arcade at Neverland. Like, it was insane.
Yet
he had platinum records, and yet he ended up in shithole Troop, Texas.
Well, I'm just sort of like, actually, the thing that freaked me out the most is you telling me about his toilet. Where I was, what?
It wasn't just his toilet, though. It was the toilet that everybody in the house used, except for Laura and I, because she had her own toilet in her room, which we kept clean. I think I showed you the pictorial evidence.
You did. I still have the photographic evidence.
Bro. That house was fucking nasty.
I still couldn't believe it when you were like, the man bought his own toilet, and it's in perfect view of the front window. And I'm like,
oh, that's a different...
Oh, that's a different dude?
Right.
Oh shit.
No. That was where I lived in Houston. And
okay, that was a different guy.
One of my roommates, we won't go into all the details, but he's got some health issues. And without going into too many other details, which many of you would find disturbing, he had a commode in his room that was in full view of the big front window of the house, and anybody walking by could just look in at any given moment in time and see homeboy reading his newspaper, shall we?
Pinching a loaf.
Dropping the kids off at the pool. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, what brings a man to that state? You know? I don't think I want to know.
I have the answer to that question, but
Oof. All right.
I'm not trying to like put anybody's like business out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, like this is
You
darker
know
and danker than I
You
can
know
fucking...
the story, and I don't really want to put.
Yeah.
There's
Basic,
embarrassing
don't be a dickhole, kids.
stuff,
Like,
and I'm not gonna be a dick.
yeah, no. What I was saying is, don't be a dickhole. You might end up shitting in front of a front window for all the world to see.
And let's be honest, he was a bit of a dickhole to me.
Oh yeah. Oh my, yeah. Dropping the Browns off at Super Bowl. That's right, Venara. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. But no, I didn't hear about this other guy.
No, this was Laura's father who I was just talking about.
Right. This is Laura's father, but like, so he's
Fair.
not Michael Jackson's old.
Public record. Yes, he is.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Laura's father was Michael Jackson's A&R rep when he was at A&R Records.
Oh, okay.
Which was just crazy to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. You know, that is nuts.
Especially given my previous living situation, which is now my current living situation.
Oh, did you move back? You moved back into Dude's house?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did. Which we won't go into the details of because it's not my business to be given those details.
Got it. Things happened.
Oh, you mean in terms of how I ended up back here in the same place?
Yes.
In Oxnard? So when I was here the first time, it was, as you know, as the audience won't know, everything fell apart for me in the Bay Area. I lost everything. I got evicted from my house. It was horrible. It was a major boohoo story for me. At that point, I decided to take up one of my friends down here in the Los Angeles area on their offer to have me come live with them for a while. My thought being, I know so many people here, in the entertainment industry, and I have a bunch of experience doing audio work and whatnot. I'll parlay those two things into a new career path for myself. And that could have been done. However, when I moved here was 2 weeks before the fucking COVID
happened. Yeah.
And everyone I knew was like, I just got furloughed. Everybody I know just got furloughed. There's nothing I can do, not only to help you, but myself. And, well, I could only couch surf for so long before it became an inconvenience. And I got convinced to move to Hellville, Texas, is how the story goes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I will not make that mistake again.
Yeah, well, definitely when you were like, well, I'm moving to Texas, I was like, that sounds like a terrible idea.
That's fucking stupid, Jim. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I really wish somebody had
six months later. Hey, Jack, remember when you said don't fucking move to Texas? Yeah, well, you were right.
6 months later, she lied to me about so many things to get me to move there in terms of what our living situation was and was going to soon change to be, the cleanliness of the house, her employment status, my potential employment status if I moved there, and the stuff that I was working on didn't come through.
Right.
Helping me start my businesses because she majored in business when she was in school and she was going to help me do all this stuff. None of it was true. None of it happened. It was all fucking lies.
Oh, jeez.
And I realized that the moment I walked in the door, because the house was just it clearly hadn't been cleaned since they moved into it a year and a half previous.
Oh.
Like you look up at the ceiling fans and there's like coated fucking nastiness this thick on the edge of the
does it got the dripping mold on the ends of the blades?
No. It was all stuck in the big caterpillar fucking fuzzy nastiness that went around the edge of the blade.
Oh.
And dude, it was seriously like that thick. I couldn't believe it. I got sick of it and cleaned it myself because I couldn't deal with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that shit's gonna fall off in someone's drink or their breakfast.
I got sick of dealing with it and I would clean it.
Oh.
But it was the whole house, and I wasn't going to clean the whole house because...
Yeah, that's a bit much,
Nobody else was cleaning up after themselves clearly.
Well, yeah, like if you're the owner of a house, you can't expect like the people living with you take better care of it than you do.
I mean... I'm not going to put any blame on Dave for that because, like, he's an old man, But the other people that lived in that house weren't, and they rarely cleaned up after themselves in any situation.
Oh, that's too bad. That is too bad.
Whatever.
Yeah.
People choose to live how they choose to live, and people choose to leave their mark with other people how they leave their mark with other people.
Yeah.
And the people in that house left a good mark with me. Her father was one of them. Dave's a good dude. Dave had my back when I needed him to, when his daughter turned into a raving narcissistic bitch and tried to do everything she could to destroy me because I called her out.
Oh, man.
So
Unlike shitting in the front room. Shitting in the front room. Sorry, I'm not getting over that. I'm not going to get over that.
Dude, I'm having a hard time getting over it. Like, I had to smell it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, I'm not trying to go into other people's personal issues. The shit smelled horrible.
Yeah, it was. I could imagine.
Literally.
Oh man, we got it. Speaking of shit, we got a bidet recently. Change your life, man.
Ladies and gentlemen. Japanese toilets, the wave of the future.
Oh, dude, no, change your life. It like,
woo. Something about your life.
Yeah. Changes a lot.
Is it like, woo?
Ooh. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You're like, actually, that's not bad. Yeah.
They warmed up the water a little bit. All right, that's kind of
Well, even if we see ours don't
got a deep cleaning. All right, cool.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have. Here's the problem. We our toilet's not hooked up to the warm water, so we don't got that option.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. We couldn't go for the one that heated the water because I also got to be honest. That I was a little intimidated by. That I was a little afraid of.
The irony of being a Californian. You can either waste trees or you can add to the fucking drought.
Yeah. You got one or the other. But I was like, look, apparently toilet paper's going to run out before the water does. So
have we learned how to use the 3 seashells yet?
Oh, we totally have.
Okay, well,
we totally fucking have. Well, like the funny thing is I was like, I always assumed this is how 3 seashells worked. One is flush,
no.
The other is spray, the other is dry. That's how I always assumed it worked. But I did find myself going, man, couldn't they have marked it? Because even like when you're in your own shower, sometimes you fuck up the cold and the hot water because you're a little tired. You're not like thinking straight. Do you really want that?
Your thought on this matter is there's like water going into the seashell.
No, yeah, but no, the seashells are buttons, right? One of them just flushes the toilet.
Like,
One of them is a bidet.
Way. I thought there was like 3 seashells, and in my mind, you're like scraping.
Yeah, because they cut out the scene where he actually sees them. When you see them, they're really obviously
Actually,
yeah. There's actually like a deleted scene where he actually like goes to the bathroom, tries to figure it out.
now it makes sense.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, the seashells are buttons.
Hollywood, stop editing your fucking directors. They know better.
Demolition Man, underrated fucking
Especially
classic,
if your
man.
name is Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh shit. All right, so I got to ask, what'd you think of that Mandalorian?
You mean the Book of Mandalorian season 3?
Well, I was thinking about what I meant was all the things that have to do with
Book of-
Dar and Jin as opposed to Boba Fett.
The Book of Boba's bad decisions.
You're not wrong on that.
Dude, it was over and over and over and over and over again. Even in the episode.
I did kind of find myself going, motherfucker, Boba Fett, you're the no disintegrations guy.
City. Let's bring in a Sarlacc. I'm sure that'll go great. It won't destroy anything.
Oh, man. Like, okay, so I was actually talking about season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian before I was going to get to the Book of Boba Fett.
I enjoyed both seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. Absolutely. It's not without its issues, but would I take that over the rise of fucking horse shit? Yes.
Oh.
You can complain about the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian all you want. The Sith knife, motherfucker. The Sith knife.
The dumbest fucking part of that fucking movie.
It is the stupidest thing in terms of a MacGuffin. It requires such an insane amount of suspension of disbelief to believe that somebody knew that at some point, 30 years in the future, someone was going to be standing right in that point, and the metal of the Death Star was going to decay in just the right way that when you pull this little pointer out and stand in just the right place, and let's be honest, that Death Star wreckage is probably viewable for hundreds of miles of coastline.
Yeah.
You just happen to be standing in just the right place so that you can pull that little pointer out and go, oh, the throne room's right there.
Yeah, there was another, this is a minor quibble in the hierarchy of, fucking problems with Rise of Skywalker. But
Somehow the Emperor has returned.
I'm like, look, I'm going to say this. I'd have been okay if they had set that up in the second movie.
The problem is there was no setting up of anything in any of those movies because they were utterly disjointed. JJ had a plan when he started. He had an idea of how he wanted the story to go, despite what he said at the time publicly.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson came in and said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and completely upset everything that was happening. Caused a massive public backlash, which caused Kathy Kennedy to go, okay, we're in the middle of making this last movie, but I don't like the way it's going. Let's change that. No, I don't like the way this is going. Let's change that again. No, I don't like the way this is going. The editor of that movie came out and said that there's 10 different versions of the movie because they changed their mind so many times mid-production and said, no, let's try this. No, let's try this. No, let's try this.
Oh. No, I was just of the
Clearly, Kathleen Kennedy, that is not the way you make a movie.
Yeah. Well, I still couldn't believe how badly they fucked up the fucking marketing for the Han Solo movie.
Which is not
It's not a bad movie, not at all.
Good thing to say it's not that bad. It's not a bad movie. In fact, I'll say it's a good movie. I don't know if I could say it's a great movie.
Yeah, great might be overstating it, but it's definitely like good.
It also has its flaws, but you know,
Yeah, like it's hovering around like Return of the Jedi level of overall quality, but which means
I'd agree with that.
yeah,
That
definitely worth watching, but like the way they marketed it, you found yourself going, you made this look like this was going to be this really fucking dour, serious fucking movie, and it's not.
It's not that at all. And in fact, Lord and Miller tried to make it so much more funny.
Well, I just found myself going like, dude, why didn't you have that scene where fucking like young Han Solo's got the rock in his hand? Why didn't you put that in the trailer? That scene was tits,
There's a lot of things they could have done differently.
Yeah.
I think they could have gone with the movie that they made, and it would have been 10 times as successful if it was told like Blade Runner, where you've got a Harrison Ford voiceover narrating the story.
Yeah, I thought that would have been fine.
You're then tying Harrison Ford into this character in this movie would have brought the audiences in.
I agree with that, actually.
100%. I don't care what anybody says. That is 100% the reason that The Force Awakens is the highest grossing film of all time in the domestic box office. It's because Harrison Ford as Han Solo was in the movie. Bottom line.
Yeah.
That's why we made so much money, because Disney knew that too.
Yeah, it was a good move. Yeah, I totally would have done like at least a voiceover for like the intro and the outro, man. So you can kind of do that, like, yeah. Han Solo's talking to us for a bit, and you could save the thing for the with Darth Maul for the after the credits sequence.
I will even further say that was probably the smartest move they made in The Rise of Skywalker, was having that Han Solo scene where he comes back and talks to Kylo Ren. Not that it makes sense in a narrative, but the context of that conversation was essentially Han Solo saying to us, the audience, it's okay to forgive him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an incredibly brilliant move on the filmmaker's part, whoever's decision it was, because it serves that function somewhat well, even though they completely scattered many of the opportunities they had to make the story of both Han Solo and Kylo Ren go better in that entire trilogy.
Yeah, because in the third one, you're like, it's weird because it feels like the third one really kind of goes backwards, because you're like, well look, we've already seen Kylo Ren at the end of fucking Last Jedi. Like, you can't go back on that, man.
And they did.
Yeah. And that was a bad decision. Here was the thing. Here was the thing that I was like, this is the beat that, in my opinion, they missed with Last Jedi. The beat that would have made everything fucking make sense, and a lot of fucking arguing, particularly about the characterization of Luke, would have just disappeared. Which is, if Luke had specifically seen that Kylo Ren would lead to the death of Leia, then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, that's why Luke fucking lost his crap. He lost a grip on his shit, because that's the thing that he always loses his shit over. Sister, you have a twin sister.
Which, when you make that point, is one of the things that was very flawed about The Last Jedi, in that Rey went to him and was like, your sister needs your help. And he was like, whatever. I want to die. I'm upset. I'm sad. Like, yeah, that sounds a lot like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. That was the big problem. And if the whole idea was like, no, Luke, anything you do is going to make this happen, then you got a reason for him to fucking stay away. You know, it's like, no, I gotta prevent this, you know, and if that means that I gotta forgo all attachments and just fucking live on this goddamn rock, then fine, I'll do that for the good of my sister. But they would have had to have thought of that.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And maybe JJ did think of that. I know that he had a plan for what was going to happen in the trilogy. It's too bad he didn't direct all 3 films. Maybe there would have been some consistency.
Well, let me put it this way. I'll say this about Last Skywalker. Every problem I have with that movie is a problem I've had with another J.J. Abrams film.
I can't agree with that because with that movie specifically came from the person who was driving that movie, which was not him.
Yeah. I don't know about that. All I know is that every problem I had with that is a problem I had with another J.J. Abrams film. They are problems that in my mind he is notorious for. Now, whether or not that's because he's not a director who stands his ground when he should, I don't know. You know, but it was thoroughly in the realm of like things I would expect J.J. Abrams to do.
Understood. I gather from the things that I've heard, and I can't remember a lot of it offhand because I'm tired and have to get up in about 4.5 hours, 5.5 hours.
Okay, so I got to be letting you go soon.
Soon. But yeah, from what I vaguely recall, his plot made a lot more sense than what we ended up getting, which was, okay, this movie was cool, but let's change direction. Oh, well, but people didn't like it, so let's change direction again. And the whole thing just ended up being a horrible mistake.
Yeah, because I constantly found myself going like, "No, man, like why did you change this?" Like for example, another thing that I'm like, "No, this is what you should have done fucking like Rise of Skywalker." Where I was like, "No. Fuck Rey's parents because it turns out she's a clone. She's an Emperor Palpatine clone that like didn't turn out right, and so they just ditched it. Someone stole her, took it to this fucking planet for some reason. Mm-hmm. You know, so that way the whole thing in Last Jedi makes sense where she looks and there's just a dozen of her in each direction. And it's like, I come from nothing. I come from no one. And it's like, yeah, because you a fucking clone. That's why. You know, flip that on its head and just have everyone be like, oh.
If she was like a clone experiment trying to move Jedi powers, move the Force from one person into another.
Yeah, exactly. But didn't quite go right.
Palpatine did, because there's all that insinuation in Revenge of the Sith that he and Darth Plagueis are responsible for Anakin's birth in the first place.
Yeah. I do kind of wish, another thing I do kind of wish is that there were a lot of people in the production of The Phantom Menace that thought that they should have made it much fucking clearer that the moment fucking Anakin starts going down the dark path is supposed to be when Qui-Gon Jinn dies.
I feel like that is certainly the reason for it, because Qui-Gon seems to have a little bit more of a handle on, you know, according to things that I've read, the living Force.
Yeah.
And I think he would have been much more attuned to paying attention to Anakin going in that direction.
Exactly. Because apparently that was part of the idea, but that got lost in everything. And I'm like, ooh, that's a real important piece of information. Like, that's the story right there, which is like, oh no, if it's like, you know, like, no, Anakin needed a father, and like motherfucker kills him.
Ready to be that.
Yeah. Obi-Wan wasn't ready to be that. He couldn't be that. Like, how could he? He's been Jedi his whole fucking life, and he's a young man. Whereas Qui-Gon Jinn's like, no, I'm an older motherfucker. I've been around, and I know that, like, I know that, like, this boy could go down a fucking bad path, but somebody's got to give a shit about him. You know, I'm trying to avert the disaster by providing the guidance that is needed. And then, of course, like, Darth Plagueis, or not, Palpatine, basically, deliberately fucks that up because he knows that's not what he wants. You know, it's like, well, you could have made that, like, part of the actual goddamn plot instead of fucking hiding it so we had to guess. You know, like, that would have been okay.
Also, I mean, if we're going to wax about the prequels, like, I felt like the biggest failure of the prequel was the actual transition into Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I expected there to be some kind of a ceremony, like some kind of crazy force power shit happens. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you would at least want that fucking. You at least want the coronation of Starscream moment or some shit.
Like that. Yeah. Like, kneels down and fucking Sidious like puts his hands in his head and he does the force lightning on him for a minute or so, and Anakin's all and then he opens his eyes and they're yellow, and it's like, okay, now he's on the dark side. Instead, what we got was, well, if you keep doing what you're doing, your girlfriend's gonna die. Well, I guess you're right. Okay, I'll follow you. Great, go kill some kids for me. Sure thing, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That made no sense to me. It was just like,
well, it was a real cheap way of trying to say that he's evil now.
But he literally at that moment was questioning, did I do the right thing there? He said, what have I done?
Yeah.
He was questioning whether he did the right thing, and he went from that to 2 minutes later fucking off to go kill a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Because he got talked into it. Like,
yeah. That seems really weird.
That's fucking weak writing. Sorry, George.
Well, yeah, because that's a moment you got to build up to. You know, in a real way, not the way it happened. You know, like, you got to build up to that shit for real.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is I was actually of the opinion that you didn't need to go that far. You know, like, he could have just betrayed the Jedi and that was bad enough.
Yeah.
You know, like, he could just be why the Jedi get wiped out. I'm like, that's bad enough. You know, like, that's how he becomes Darth Vader. He slaughtered the Jedi. You know, he was my brother once.
Kids.
Mm-hmm. Where it was just one of those, like, huh? What?
Yeah. Just, really?
Yeah. Let's go kill some kids now. Wait, what?
No.
Yeah. That's one of those things where the longer you get away from it, the more you're like, that's a terrible idea. Oh, narratively, that was terrible. You know?
Killing Padawans is bad. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You know, but maybe it was just one of those things where I think really at the end of the day, like, I think George Lucas forgot how to tell, like, a real story and was just trying to serve the money gods. I mean, he wasn't always that great at telling a story to begin with, right?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The first Star Wars movie is amazing. The second Star Wars movie is amazing. We've kind of just gone downhill since then.
Yeah. I mean, like, Force Awakens is definitely better than any of the prequels, but still, like...
And we need only to look at the original producer of Star Wars to figure out why. And it was just plain and simply the fact that George figured out he was making a lot more money from selling toys than he was making movies. So he turned Star Wars into a toy commercial.
Yeah, which wouldn't have been so bad had they fucking not forgotten all the other stuff. You know, like, I would have immediately have just been like, all right, Here's the story. Here's the outline. This is what I got. Last movie I directed flopped. The last 3 movies I directed flopped. And they weren't even Star Wars pictures. So why don't I just come on as the assistant director to all of them, but I put one of you guys who clearly knows what they're doing in charge?
But I mean, do they?
Well, I mean, you would have to say the director of Empire Strikes Back knew what he was doing.
Fair.
You know, there was a point where like Steven Spielberg was like, dude, let me direct a Star Wars movie. That'd be fucking awesome. I'd have been like, yeah, that sounds fine. I mean,
Really, the only reason he didn't was because of the whole opening credits thing. George wanting to have it start with the opening crawl and just the name, no credits at the beginning of the movie. The DGA said, we're not okay with that. George said, I don't care. It's Star Wars, and
yeah, that's how Star Wars opens.
This is how we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So George got removed from the Directors Guild of America, and hence Spielberg cannot be a member of the Directors Guild of America. And yeah,
that's some bullshit. That is some bullshit.
J.J. Abrams has since directed Star Wars movies, but I guess now that it's part of Disney, it's a different situation.
Yeah, it probably is a different situation because, like,
they still ain't got no credits at the beginning of a Star Wars.
I know, right? I know, right? But like, one of the things is, okay, this is my feelings on the Book of Boba Fett. It's not as good as The Mandalorian, but it's still an enjoyable watch. You know, is it
fun to watch? It's just there's things about it that make you go,
huh? Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree there are a lot of things that make you go, huh? You know,
can we talk about having a chase scene on land speeders? Literally, the name Speed is in the name. Let's remember that, people.
Right.
And the speeders are going so fucking slow that you're sitting there thinking, the dude could have just run away faster. Like, why is he in a land speeder?
Yeah. There's a lot of plot contrivance. Actually, here's the thing. At the end of the day, to me, this is the biggest problem. I get that Boba Fett's older, right? He's chilled out a bit, but he's still the guy that Darth Vader specifically said no disintegrations. So this is not a man who is unfamiliar with needless destruction. And I thought that he should have pulled that trick out at least once. You know, like there should have been one of those, like, I'm like, that scene at the end with the bosses, I was like, no, disintegration bomb. It just fucking turns to dust. And everyone's like, oh shit, that Boba Fett was here. You know, that's his signature, fucking disintegrating everybody. And just not fucking around. You know, because I'm sitting there going like, why is Boba Fett more pacifistic than the Mandalorian? Like, even in the show, the Mandalorian just flat out kills dudes.
With no issues.
Yeah, he's just sort of like, nope, that guy, nope, just kill that guy. All right, just kill that guy. Hey, do you want to live? Nope, okay, bam, done. I'm like, why isn't Boba Fett doing this shit? He's fucking Boba Fett.
Is he, though?
Well, like, he's supposed to be. You know? He's fucking supposed to be.
But I mean, we're talking about this guy who got a reputation for being this intelligent, cunning, devious, like, warrior, right?
Or at least ruthless, right?
But he goes and flies his fucking ship close enough to the Sarlacc that it can reach out and grab his ship because he's looking for his armor that he was wearing when he fucking crawled out of the goddamn sand.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, you couldn't put 2 and 2 together and think Jawas, you know? You know, I mean, my opinion was that,
He crawled out.
yeah, like I would have been, I don't know how else to put it. I would have been just like, I get that there's a continuity thing happened here, but
That's
there's,
Stephen Moffat level fucking
oh
dumbassery.
god, yeah, yeah. I mean, fun scene, but still, I was like, I can't believe Boba Fett's not putting this together. You know, and why are we just doing this to get rid of the Slave One? To put that out of commission?
Only the name.
Yeah. You know, that was the other thing. I'm like, no, motherfucker is the Slave One. What are you talking about?
More.
You know, like I was kind of, because here's what I was kind of hoping for. I was kind of hoping for Breaking Bad of Star Wars, man.
That's really what it should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been Boba Fett being a cold, low-down, dirty fucking gangster and pulling the same shit that everybody else did.
Yeah. And like, and you could still have like that. No, I'm gonna
He
change the way I
never
was.
like the Godfather.
Yeah. He could. Yeah, exactly. Like it's one of those things where like, fucking oh god, what's the name of that character? The Godfather. Not Michael Corleone.
No, it's Vito Corleone.
Vito Corleone, yeah. Like, you sympathize with that guy, but he is a ruthless asshole.
Quite.
You know, I was like, no, I thought we were going to do this, where it was just going to be like, yeah, we're kind of with you, Boba Fett, because you're the bad guy that we like, you know?
But that's not what we got. We got, why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yeah, like, I mean, he's got all the crime bosses that he knows is going to fuck him over in one room.
Fennec Shand is acting more like Boba Fett than Boba Fett is.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. I was like, that was what was so funny about having, like, the fucking 2 episodes with Darren Jin in him. I'm like, Darren Jin is acting way more like Boba Fett here. You know? Like, because, like, that, when they wrote The Mandalorian, they knew that, like, well, what's this man's redeeming quality? He loves Baby Yoda. That's the redeeming quality.
Boy, they sure didn't waste any time bringing him back, did they?
No, they did not. And to be fair, I'm like, best 2 episodes of the show.
It was.
You know, best episodes of the show have Darren Jin in them, but at the same time, I'm like, I thought this was about Boba Fett.
It clearly wasn't.
Yeah.
It clearly wasn't. Boba Fett was a supporting character in his own show.
Yeah, that was the weirdest part of the whole damn thing, because I found myself going like, why are we doing it this way? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
You know what, dude? It came across to me like, for some reason, they couldn't jump into shooting The Mandalorian Season 3. And they're like, well, what are we going to do instead? Well, we've got partial availability, so we can write a couple of stories that take place before then and then bring The Mandalorian in and have what is essentially the beginning of Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah. But, like...
That's how it came across.
Yeah, it is how it came across, but I found myself going, but why though? You know?
Because you have to, I mean, in the way this current round of streaming is going, you have to keep bringing the original content that's bringing the people back.
Yeah.
And that means they got to have the Star Wars flowing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I would have just made it like 1 or 2 episodes smaller.
I mean, really, we didn't need that show. Much like we didn't need Solo. It seems like it was something that got made because they had the space to make something, so let's make something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I was expecting Book of Boba Fett to, like, fucking start, like, they fucking introduced the concept to us with him, like, walking in Jabba's palace and just killing everybody.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, because and the thing was is when we got back to like I didn't mind the whole Lawrence of Tuscan Arabia thing. I thought that was fine, but I was like, but dude,
That was one of the best parts of the show.
Yeah, it is. You know,
background in Tuscan culture.
Yeah, like that shit was super cool. But I found myself going like, well, now that he's got the armor and everything back, why isn't he just like kind of back to like, oh no,
Bounty hunter?
Oh no, crime lord time. I'm gonna fuck you up. That's how this is gonna be.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, me too. You know, it's basically, it's like, no, it's Boba Fett's way.
That's exactly what I thought we were going to get, and that is not what we got.
No, it isn't, which I thought was really weird. They tried to humanize Boba Fett to a point that I think we didn't want him to be humanized.
Exactly.
You know, we wanted him to still be the bad guy.
The lore of that character is the mystery behind him, and there isn't any mystery behind him anymore. He is less interesting because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that they should have doled out like some of the backstory a little bit more judiciously. Like, all right, how did he get out of Sarlacc pit? We all want to see that. We all know how that probably happened, but we want to see it. So, okay, we'll do that. All right, so how did he end up with the Tusken Raiders? That's cool. You know, everything else after that can be left for a later season. You know, because all the questions that we had are now answered. Now we want to see how he is going forward, and we kind of want him to be, you know, and no disintegrations, as you wish.
I think we were on the money a little bit earlier in what we said, in that we should have gotten essentially the Godfather Part 2.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. You know,
like, you want to be the boss, you got to do what's necessary to be the boss, and you failed miserably at it.
Yeah. Well, Leon the Professional, that's Mandalorian. Yeah, somebody's just mentioning, you know, like mentioning Leon the Professional. I'm like, that was Mandalorian. That was its fucking. That was totally like Leon the Professional, fucking Lone Wolf and Cub.
And you know? I can't see the name of who wrote it, but the funny thing is, the Clone Wars cartoon was way better than the other prequels. 100% agreed.
Oh shit!
The same about Rebels as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Dang. I'm a little bit worried about this Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Me too. And it's the Book of Boba Fett that made me concerned about it.
Yeah. Because I was like Book of Boba Fett started good, ended good, but like that stuff in the middle. You know?
Yeah.
And the thing is I think people made way too big of a deal over those Power Rangers fucking speeders and the spin that guy does. The problem is this: at least with the Power Ranger speeders, I understand why people had a problem with it, because it's exactly what I thought, which is that doesn't look like Star Wars at all.
No, they look like Vespas.
Yeah. It's like, why? I'm like, on Tatooine. Like, no, if you want to do that shit on like Coruscant or something, fine, but this is fucking Tatooine. Everything here is like mopeds and beat to shit. You know, any paint job they have is going to be wrecked by the end of the day, man. Just sandblasting it off.
Yeah, exactly. The whole fucking planet is covered with sand.
Yeah. You know, I was just sort of like, yeah, it's okay if they look a little greenish or a little reddish, like they try, you know, but still fucking Tatooine.
They're clearly not going fast enough to be sandblasted. So,
dude, I'm like, come on, those things can't even look. All right, maybe Imperial speeder bikes got some extra right?
At least Fennec knows that her speeder is supposed to go fast. Yeah. Fennec's is like, boom.
Yeah, well, that was fucking another thing. I was like, why aren't these just like Imperial speeders that they modded up?
Right?
You know?
Different colors, and they actually go fast.
Yeah, they actually go fast, and then all of a sudden you feel like, Oh, well, of course Boba Fett hired these guys. These guys fucking jacked some fucking Imperial speeders, baby. That ain't no joke. You know?
A bunch of clearly ineffective show-offs.
Exactly. Like that was the problem. It's like, no. It's okay for them to be like young show-offs, but they got to be like actually good for it, and you got to see why Boba Fett would be like, all right, you're my guys. You know, it's like, I'm not saying you couldn't do that. Clearly you could, but the show didn't do that as well as they could have.
I'm 100% agreed with that scene where Luke had Grogu pick the lightsaber or the armor was just so horrible. It made Luke seem like a dick, really.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, exactly. The armor was the more peaceful option.
Yeah. Well, I mean, favorite line in the whole show is that whole thing where the armor
has this lightsaber or this thing that will protect you from lightsabers. What?
Yeah. Well, like that was actually part of
them both.
Yeah. Well, this was the thing that I really liked about that, which was they didn't. The moment where the armor is describing the Jedi to Darren Jin, and he just goes, "Forgo all attachments. That is not the way." The way is family, the way is loyalty. You're just like, yeah, that's fucking right, man. You know what?
Isn't his first name Din?
Is it Din Djarin?
Din Djarin, I believe.
Din Djarin. Okay, yeah, I keep fucking it up. Yeah, because I just call him because in my mind he's still just Mando.
Yeah, that's what I call him, and like everybody else, I still call Grogu Baby Yoda.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that whole idea where it was like, no, here's the Mandalorian going like, no, Jedi are fucked up. That's why we fucking fought them. You know, they're not taking care of orphan children. That's our deal. You know, you're just sort of like, oh shit, you got a point there, Mandalorians. You know, damn, yeah, stick it to them. You know?
But here's the thing. By doing what they did, they removed any need for Luke to have come into either show from the narrative.
I know what you mean. What you mean.
There's really no need to him have even shown up in the first place. They could have found another way out of the battle with the Dark Troopers.
Yeah. Well, like, here's what I know they're setting Grogu up for.
He's going to go to the dark side.
He's either, no.
You don't think so?
No, he's not going to go dark side. He's going to be the rebalance of what being a Force user is all about.
Oh, nice.
That's what I'm convinced they're going for, because
that seemed like the story they wanted to do, or at least George wanted to do with Leia.
Yeah.
Apparently, his whole idea for the sequel trilogy was going to be surrounding Leia and her children, which Disney clearly threw out the window.
Yeah, but I really, that to me would have been, how to put it, that would have been the way, right? You know, he's been like, no, the Sith failed. The Sith were wrong. Why were the Sith wrong? Because they believe in utter tyrannical control. You know, might makes right. That's not right. That's not good enough. What's the problem with the Jedi? Too detached. You have to be involved. You know, you have to be involved in order to really do fucking good. So once those two things collapse, the New Order is supposed to be like, oh no, we're going to rebalance this. We're going to do this other thing, and bringing back in that context, bringing back like the animosity between the Jedi and the Mandalorians makes a lot of sense. You know, because it's like, oh no, now we can really talk about it because we got these two things like that are diametrically opposed on this key issue.
It would be interesting if they went down that route, but I don't think that's the route they're going.
I'm not sure it isn't yet.
You think?
I still have hope. You know, I still have hope that that's a direction that they will take Grogu, because I do not think they're going to turn him into a bad guy. He might go down a dark path, but I don't think he's not going to become a Sith.
No, I don't think he'll become a Sith. I just wonder if they're going to go with him going down a darker path because he chose not to go with Luke.
They might. He might go down a darker path, but ultimately, I think that the idea is going to be that, like, no, this is the path that needs to be taken. This is it. We may think of it as darker, but it is a new, it's a new galaxy out there. You know, gotta readdress this problem. Gotta readdress this stuff, because the Jedi clearly fucking failed when it counted most.
Yeah,
Yeah, that to me is like the failure of the prequels, because that's the case that the prequels are supposed to be making. You know, that's the case that the prequels are supposed to be making, which is like, no, the Jedi died out for a reason.
I mean, Rian Johnson did try to address that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. It's the part of the movie. I love that part of the movie.
I'll say what I've been saying about The Last Jedi for the longest time is it would have been a great Star Wars movie if the central character wasn't Luke Skywalker. If it had been some other old Jedi that was trying to be brought back into the fold, and it was a side story and didn't have Finn essentially having the exact same character arc he had in the first movie, it could have been a great Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Oh, the only problem, I actually had no problem with Finn's story arc in the second movie. You know, I actually thought
it was literally an exact copy of his storyline in the first.
Well, there's one thing I would have changed. There is one thing I would have changed. It has nothing to do with the Gambler Planet or any of that stuff. What I would have changed is by the end of the second movie, he just flat out uses the Force.
Yeah, they did really shoe in the whole him being a Force sensitive thing in the last movie and didn't really touch on it too much.
No, they didn't. And that was a big mistake, because I actually thought that what should have fucking happened at the end.
Well, it did have to happen in one of the other 9 versions of the movie.
Yeah, well, probably did happen in one of the other 9 versions, is I thought that basically they should have ended with, no, go ahead, make Kylo Ren the bad guy, kill him. Like, he's bad. He's the Emperor. He's Emperor bad. Okay, we can do that. And instead have the movie be about 2 friends. Basically by the end of it, both Rey and Finn are on the path of learning the Force, but not necessarily in the way of the Jedi. We actually do the, like, no, we're going to do this together. Why? Family. Yeah, it's all about family, yo.
Yeah.
This is a chosen family. That's the story. Before it was all about bloodline. Now it's about chosen family. We're going to do it that way. We're going to, an ex-stormtrooper and a clone of the most evil motherfucker that ever fucking existed are going to get together, and they're going to be galactic heroes.
Which sounds good on paper, and it offered an interesting way into the Star Wars universe that I feel like was yet another failed opportunity of the sequels.
Oh, yeah.
Of so many. There were so many failed moments where they could have gone a different way and it would have made everybody just go, what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. It's one of those things where it's like, the thing about the sequel movies, the third trilogy, is it's full of these moments where you're like, you had everything you needed. You just didn't quite put it together right. Unlike the prequels, where it's sort of like, talk about burying the lead. Like, holy shit. It's like, what's the point of these prequels? And you look into it and you're like, oh, that's actually a pretty good point. I don't know why you buried it in this narrative, though. That seems like a dumb idea. You know.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Although I'll say one thing. I'll say one thing. This is one thing I will never forgive George Lucas for.
Uh-oh.
This is the one thing. Like there's a lot I can forgive. There's a lot I can forgive, but this is the one where I'm like, no, this is why I'm mad. It's the only reason I'm angry. We don't have those original cuts anymore.
Oh, well, let's have a conversation off air.
Ew.
I know things.
Oh shit. Do we know like Star Wars holiday special levels of things? Back in the 90s, that is. You got to help me. I'm being mobbed by my adoring fan. I found that on YouTube, by the way.
I was literally just going to bring that up because I knew you were going there.
Yeah, I actually found that whole bit on like fucking YouTube. I was like, I bet someone on YouTube has got this because someone else has to have a copy of the same cassette ours was dubbed off of.
You know what? I'm very disappointed that you can't find anymore on anywhere on the internet, as far as I know. When they put out the Oscar screeners of Fellowship of the Ring back in 99.
Yeah, just about.
90, no. It came out in
It was like 2000. Yeah. You're talking about Fellowship?
Beginning of 2001, the Oscar screener of Fellowship of the Ring got out on the internet, and the captions were not what was being said in the movie. And they're very entertaining on a legendary level, and I would love to get a copy of that again.
Two toes? I want to eat two toes.
Along those lines, yes.
Yeah. 2002. That's when Fellowship came out.
What's that?
2002. That was when Fellowship came out.
Okay, so then it would have been the beginning of 2003.
Yeah. Damn, I can't believe I'm looking back at that as the good old days, man. You know,
we had a lot of fun back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's funny. Like I gotta hand it to every old guy who ever told me, "Don't worry about it. You're gonna look back, and these are gonna be the best. You're gonna look back at this shit and think, man, those were the days," because that's just the way it happens.
We had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
We had a lot of fun in the aughts, man. A lot. Had some legendary parties. Legendary.
Yeah. Oh man, I think the only reason you couldn't have parties like that these days is in the world of cameras. That's called incriminating evidence.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I went through all my teenage and 20-year-old shenanigans before everybody had video cameras.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, because you got to be able to, like, I don't know how to say it. It's like no. There's a certain level of trust that is really hard to have when everyone's armed with a camera. You know, Everybody is really, 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 really scared because any place becomes not a safe place. You know,
about people walking into bars wearing Google glasses.
Yeah.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
That immediately.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, nah, if you wanted to do, first thing to do in the underground party world is like all that shit, you got to be able to pick it out and go like, no, that's what don't go. That's what don't fly. You know, it's like, oh my God, you going to bust me for this cocaine? No, that's cell phone. Get out. You know, like that's going to be what it is. You know, can't have that camera on. You know, like this is not that
culture behind that of like just living in the moment and experiencing it, as opposed to looking at your little camera to make sure you're getting a good shot.
Exactly. It was like antithetical to that whole thing. And yeah, there was always that one guy who was like a shutterbug. Like we had Sam. You know. Like,
or that back in the Fantech days, Patrick Putziger.
Right. But like the thing is everyone knew that guy, and you knew whether or not you could trust that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, oh yeah, it's Sam. Sam's cool. Don't worry about it. You know, but if it's everybody, that becomes harder.
Both of them.
What?
I think that was the case with both of them. Like, I'm 100% sure Patrick Putziger's got many, 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 many incriminating photos that aren't on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very sure of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that like that nitrous tank has got to be just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, I don't know that he was necessarily in any of the rooms where that was going on, but there are some pictures floating around from some of the nitrous rooms that I've seen where people are just sitting there with that blank nitrous look on their face, just completely brain dead.
Yeah. I still can't believe I still can't believe how impossible it was to explain to Bruce Every. No, there were sex parties at your con, man. You didn't throw them.
You didn't know about them.
You didn't know about them. You weren't supposed to. But they happened. You know?
Well, it was a big mistake on... I don't want to like start naming specific names, but you're aware of what happened in terms of Rob and I getting forced out of Fantech security because of our extracurricular habits.
Yeah.
I thought that was a huge mistake on their part, because one of the reasons things were happening as smoothly as they were when the two of us were involved in security is that we were plugged into all that stuff. So if anything happened, we could cut it off and go deep.
Yeah. You knew when the real shit went down.
Well, we knew everything that was going down, and if there was some crazy party and we got wind of it, one of us would go to the party and say, "Hey, look, we're catching wind. You need to be cool," and they'd bring it down.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was supposed to work. A lot of people
didn't get in trouble, and a lot of potential problems got handled like that because we were involved, but because certain people found out about our extracurricular activities, we got forced out. Because that was the time.
Yeah, that's one of those, in retrospect, clearly a bad idea. You know, it made total sense on paper.
I'm sure it made sense to them because there was, you know, some judgmental attitudes about that particular thing.
Yeah,
that do not currently exist.
Yeah.
Not to the degree they did back then.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like that was back in the day when like pot was like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and while I prefer a sober security force, like, how much security do you really need a sci-fi con, bro?
Getting all fucking wasted while we were working security.
Yeah.
We weren't. But I think that was what they thought was going on. That
I guarantee that's what they thought was going on.
You could hide security. No, we actually ran a tight ship. We did a good job, and everybody that worked security with us will testify to that. Even if some of them were intoxicated at the time.
Well, it's like you could definitely you could see the shift. You could see the shift in the quality of the convention itself and its response to that stuff, leading to simultaneously a worse convention and worse security. So it was like, you know, the double dipper, you know, and that was the big problem. Like, that was the big problem, is that both those things happened at once for the exact same reason.
I will take it even further than that. And I think the big problem was that so much of the attendance of the Fantech cons and Balticon and Disclave, for that matter, was not for people that were there to celebrate science fiction. It was people that were there for the social aspect of it.
Oh yeah. Well, Disclave was like a huge hacker convention.
It started out that way.
Yeah. Oh no, it stayed that way.
Disclave was the biggest party con of them all.
Oh yeah.
Hands down.
Oh yeah.
Which unfortunately led to what happened that ended Disclave, which was little impromptu waterfall in the lobby.
Yeah, a little too many hijinks. A little too that was a convention that could have used with a little bit more security tightening. To be totally fucking honest, because that was the one where all the fucking security hackers were. You know?
To give the audience a little background on this, what happened apparently was that there was a couple that was playing little sex games in their room, and one of them good idea to handcuff their lover to the sprinkler outlet in the room. That's not what happened. The sprinkler outlet got yanked off, and it started dumping hundreds of gallons of water into the room.
As it's designed to do.
Well, it's not designed to dump hundreds of gallons of water into the room. It's designed to spray out.
To spray it, yeah.
In a controlled, device. That's, that the control part of it was removed, so the water just flowed right through. And
yep,
it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water, and we had a waterfall in the lobby of the hotel as a result. And
that was pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. It's like, well, this is it.
And it was.
It was.
Had one more disclave after that, and it did not go well, and they got blackballed at every single hotel in the DC area.
Because it's one thing to destroy an elevator. It's another thing to have an occasional accidental death. It's another to do millions of dollars of damage to the building.
But it wasn't the people that ran the organization that had any responsibility for that happening. That was the choice of two guests of the hotel to do what they did. It had nothing to do with the con, but the con price for it.
Yeah, basically it was the hammer had to fall on somebody, and who's the best target?
It ended up falling on everybody.
Yeah.
I think as a longtime resident of San Francisco, we can easily say that the best fucking party in the world used to be in the Castro on Halloween.
Yeah.
It was insane and cool at the same time. Until those couple of years where first that idiot went running through the crowd with a fucking chainsaw, and then the following year somebody fired a gun up in the air and the city just said, nope, that's it, we're done. No more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one or two assholes ruin it for everybody every time. The majority of people got a fairly good lid on it because the vast majority of people don't want to hurt other people.
No, it was, in both cases, those cons and that Halloween party, it was just a bunch of people that wanted to get together and have a good time.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to hurt anybody else. Nobody wanted to cause anybody else any problems. They just wanted to go have a good time and be around people that accepted them for who they were. Yeah. And that, again, goes back to why we started going to those cons in the first place, because there was that atmosphere of just be you.
Yeah. Well,
Dick, you're welcome here.
Man, one of the things I think a lot of people found out in the whole Black Lives Matter to 2020 was how common it is for the problem with these large gatherings to be the deliberate work of either the cops or a couple of interlopers. That's super fucking common. Because like I remember the one march I went to, I parked the car, because I drove down, was gonna walk the rest of the way, and there's a guy right across the street from me, and I'm like, that is a white guy with out-of-state plates taking pictures of everything. All right, I'm going to stand here, smoke a couple of cigarettes while looking at him. and see what he does. You know, because if he's literally here just to get photos, he'll get a couple of photos and then he'll come up to me and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm a photographer. Do you mind signing this release?"
That didn't happen.
That didn't happen. No. Like, instead, he got real nervous and drove away. And I'm like, good. If that was going to be your reaction, then you should fucking do that. Because you're here to start trouble. You're here because you think that this is going to be the downfall of America. You know, and you probably got some, homies hanging out somewhere. I do not want, nobody wants them. You know, nobody wants them here. Fuck you.
It is interesting that it has been proven multiple times that so many of the people that were actually causing physical damage at a lot of the protests that were happening a couple of years ago were not actually part of the protests that were going on. They just
yeah. They're there to deliberately make the protest look bad.
Exactly.
You know, like that's one of the upsides of everyone having a camera. Catch those guys dead to rights. You know, but like, damn, I still couldn't believe it because I'm just sitting here like, really? This is San Francisco? You think you're going to be okay doing this shit here? No, that's not how this rolls. What?
I said, this ain't the town.
This ain't the town. Like, you ain't from around here, are you, boy?
It is interesting to me that there's that dichotomy of all of the entitled assholes that San Francisco is full of right now. But that old school, oh, you just fucked with the wrong fool, is still there.
Oh, it's still there. Yeah, it is. You know, but yeah, it is weird because it is a different crowd. It's a very different crowd. It's a much more moneyed crowd.
Yeah, well, and that's the key.
Yeah.
That's why San Francisco has turned us into what it has turned into, because Willie Brown got his wish.
Well, Willie Brown totally got his way. I'm just trying to I'm constantly just trying to find like the underground again. And
I'm sure it's still there.
Oh, it is, but it's really small and it's having a lot of problems right now.
And it's probably still infested with meth.
Oh, yeah, but for a different reason. Yeah, all right, check this out.
Yeah.
So when I talk about the underground, I'm not talking about like your death guilds or your Trocaderos.
Okay.
Like that's like Mos Eisley, right? You know, like that's where you run into guys who are in the underground. You know, when I think about the underground, I think about like, you know, the old rave scene and the old like whole underground party circuit. What? Thump? Yeah, Thump Radio and all that shit.
Thump was the best, dude.
So good, so good. Still hasn't been beaten. You know,
I've never been to any kind of rave that steps up to the level of Thump. Man.
Oh no! Holy crap! The crowd was good. The music was good. The drugs were good. Like,
great.
It was a perfect fucking storm, man. And but anyway, yeah, that's what I consider the underground, right?
Yeah.
Anyway. I know some guys who were like DJs in the area. I recently rehooked up with them, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, you know, where's shit going down? He's like, well, you want to be careful. And I'm like, well, look at you. All right. Are you saying that because you've forgotten who I am? Or are you saying that because even given who I am, I need to be told? And he was like, it's the second one. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, what is it? Apparently, one of the things that got really big in the underground party circuit that caused it to not quite kick off the way it should have, QAnon. And I was like, what?
Wow.
And they're like, yeah.
I was not expecting you to go there.
I wasn't expecting that either. Like, I was like, wait, what? Like, QAnon? And they're like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, why would the fucking Trump QAnon crowd fucking be here? And they're all like, 'cause of Joe Rogan. because he's such an advocate for like psychedelics and stuff, they came here. But the problem is that's the only thing they have in common with anybody fucking else, and they're pushing everybody else out because no one wants to fucking party with those fools.
Right.
You know, because they're assholes. You know, and I was like, oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Is that what's going on? You know, and all the DJs were like, yeah, that's what's going on. I'm like, how bad is it? They're like, for the first time since I've been doing this, since like, and some of these guys have been doing this shit since the 80s. These are like veterans. You know, they're like, for the first time, I'm actually like a little bit worried about what's going to happen at one of these things. You know, like I'm worried about whether or not I'm going to get singled out for being black or something. You know, and you're just like, I was just like such a foreign concept to me. I was like, that doesn't sound right at all. And they're all like, nope, it's not. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is bullshit. You know?
It does seem unfortunate that it doesn't matter how cool a thing is, like somebody always finds a way to fuck it up.
Yeah. Because like the people who initially gravitate towards a thing like that are usually the better people. You know, they're usually your better people, you know, but the people who come in near the tail end after the real work has been done.
Burning Man.
Oh, dude, great example. Great fucking example. You know, oh, and I was talking to some old like fucking like gay San Francisco hippies, and they were like, it was the same thing with the fucking Summer of Love. They were like, Summer of Love started amazing, but by the end of it, every asshole in the fucking world was showing up. And that's why that died out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an interview with George Harrison where he talks about going and visiting San Francisco in the middle of all that just to kind of experience it and be a part of it. And his takeaway was it's just a bunch of people all fucked up on drugs. Like there isn't anything interesting going on there. There isn't anything especially creative going on. It's just a bunch of people all fucked up.
Yeah, because that was the tail end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there would still be some remnants of it going into the 70s, but for the most part, it is over, baby. You know, 69 was the end, you know, and I'm like, oh, God, that's way too fucking bad.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I have this sort of really
great direction until it just turned into...
It turned into everyone just trying to get theirs.
Evolve.
Yeah. Trying to get theirs or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now that the hard work's been done.
Trying to get their buzz, trying to get their fun time.
Mm-hmm.
And it that started out as just a component of it, and it was all about growth.
Yeah. There was a whole bunch more going on at the same time.
It was about growth. And it stopped being about growth and started being about fucking who cares?
Yeah. Or as one of the dudes told me, until these fucking New England pieces of shit start showing up. Oh man, he's like, there are only two people from the East Coast. Those who come here and become Californians and motherfuckers.
Those who are intolerant of other cultures and the
Dutch. Oh my God. All right, man. I should probably let you go.
Yeah, I should get 3.5 hours of sleep before I have to put in 8 hours of work tomorrow.
Yeah. That's probably that's probably for the best. All right, man. Well, it was good hanging out with you, dude.
I definitely want to jump in and chat for a bit because
yeah,
you
know, our boy Jace. You know. Oh man,
I'm in disbelief.
Yeah, me too. It seems. You know, the Countess said it best. She's like, it seems somehow unfair that the world gets to keep existing after Jace dies.
The party definitely doesn't seem like it's going to continue as well.
No.
Jace is one of those guys that kept the party going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was great. The man is legend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that dude. I hate that I'm not get to hang out with my brother man again.
Oh, I know. Brother man, 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 brother man,
Brother man. That's Jace. He is the brother man.
Yeah. I just, oh God, watching him do that whole like Robin Harris bit on that fucking one guy at the gas station.
Remind me?
Okay, so where Jace got that is from this comedian Robin Harris. Guy
Okay.
did Bebe's Kids.
Okay.
He talks about like, you know, like he'll roll up on a place and the homeless dude will come up to him and go, brother man, 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 brother man. You got any spare change?
You got a cigarette?
Yeah. You know, and Robin Harris's response is, motherfucker need a spare job, then he have some spare change, okay? Oh, I won't work for the white man. Oh, but you'll beg from the black man. I watched Jace do that whole bit to this one dude who just wouldn't leave him alone. Remember that Andretti Mart?
Yeah, of course.
That was it. That was the
I remember
spot.
when they built that thing, and now it's gone.
Gone. Yeah, I know, right?
That was so weird.
I know. It's weird because, like, you know that shitty, like that really, like, janky, like, Filipino corner store?
The one
That
with
motherfucker's still there.
dude, those I don't know what they're called, but those little like they put the fried bananas in there and like honey and wrap them in tortillas.
Yeah.
God damn, those things were so good.
Yeah. But like the funny thing is if you knew what was going on, like those things were right next to the blood eggs, which are the baby the duck fetus eggs that you eat raw.
Ugh.
Yeah. Those are what those purple eggs were.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were. So like, no, it was totally like, fucking Filipino bodega.
The Unimart.
The Unimart. Yeah, still there. It's still there.
Nice. Is it still green?
Hell yeah.
Sweet. God, that whole area has changed so much since we were first moved in there.
Oh yeah.
You guys obviously moved in there before I did, but it wasn't that much longer after you guys moved in that I.
The fucking two things that are still there in roughly the condition that they were in were Leather, etc., and the Unimart. Everything else has massively changed, even like the Cat Club.
I noticed that.
Yeah, which that was that to me was a weird one. Like I got shade. I was like, this is how bad like Cat Club changed. I got shade.
For 1 second, I'll be right back.
All right. Do. Well, thank you. I want to thank all of you for like joining us on this trip down memory lane. You know, it's been fun. It has been a good time. It's been a good time, and I hope it's been a good time for you. Bloop. I don't know what that is. Maybe someone's kind of trying to call Jim on his end. Who knows what the fuck's going on? I don't. Do. Oh my god. Hey, Jim,
Sir.
you talking into a cardioid condenser mic?
Oh, could you hear everything?
Got some pretty good range on that thing.
Good to know.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. But yeah. I walk up to the fucking Cat Club, home of Bondage a Go-Go for many a year. And I'm like, hey, no, let's check out, see the old digs. Let's see, like, how things have gone down. Have a few drinks, see some, like, various naked people. They're probably all my age already. So, like, whatever. Let's see some sloppy dongs and saggy tits. I'm here for it. Let's do this. I get there. First of all, crowd's way younger now. Like, just overall. And I was like, oh. Like, you guys are like in your
That was the case when we were hanging out with those people.
Yeah. But I was surprised at the level of turnover.
Like 20s, early 30s tops.
Oh, yeah. But, like, what I mean was, I wasn't prepared for how big that difference was going to be. First of all, because, like, I'm trying to get that past a bouncer that's, like, literally half my age. And I'm like, first of all, why am I having this conversation? I am dressed the way I've always been dressed when I came here every time. I knew where I was going. I knew there was a dress code. So fine. Dress the code. Here we are. Guys like, you're out of dress code. How? I got the leather pants, the leather shoes, the leather top, the leather jacket. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm out of dress code. That says all black. I don't know if you've noticed.
I'm in all black.
I'm in all black. And then he starts, like, giving me even more shade, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? I'm like, no, dude, it's, like, cool. And he's like, all right, that'll be, here's the cover charge. I'm like, cool. Hand him the card, and he's like, we don't take credit. Like, what are you talking about? You're at a bar in San Francisco, right? In a city, somewhere that exists on a map. How do you not take credit? How do you not take plastic?
Technology forward cities in the country.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, this guy's giving me a line, man. This guy's giving me a line. He does not want me coming in. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm like,
liar.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, what's the situation behind the bar? They'll still take plastic, right? Because I got enough cash to, if it's a cash only bar, we've got a real problem here. So of course it was a cash only bar. And I'm like, bullshit. And I fucking walked away.
Thing on the fucking planet, like, why would you cut off your ability to make money off drunk people?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, because I was all ready for, like, all right, price, door charge has gone up. Maybe there's a 2-drink minimum, whatever. Like, I can handle that. I have the money. I just don't carry that amount of cash on me.
At this point.
Fuck it. If I fucking go into a fucking strip club, there's still a fucking cash machine there that gives out ones. It's a new era. It's the 21st century. The hell's wrong with you? But apparently it's a completely different group of people. And I was deemed an undesirable.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck you,
You haven't been undesirable yet, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, don't.
You're pissing me off.
Yeah.
I live before.
Yeah. It's like I live in the building right over there. There is probably something I have done that is still part of the goddamn building. There's probably like a fucking drink cup on the ceiling no one has picked up that I left there 12 years ago.
Probably.
You know? But like, yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And don't know what else to say about that, but I was like, okay, well, I guess we're not coming back here then.
Yeah, that's what you can say about that.
Yeah. You know, I'm like, I could at least, it's like the DNA lounge will at least let me in, you know? Like, you know, like, hell, I know most of the people that own that place anyway, you know?
I'm sure End Up will let you in.
Yeah. Is that place even still open? I think it closed down.
Last time I saw it, which was a couple of years ago, it was still open.
Let's see. The End Up. Called because it's the place you end up. Because this is like, motherfucker, the definition of after hours joints.
Oh, God.
Opens 1 a.m. on Friday. When does it close?
Sunday night.
7 a.m. on Sunday.
I definitely ended up there many a time on a Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
Going from club to club to club to club. Everything else is closing. Let's go to End Up.
Yeah. Because we're not done punishing our fucking bodies yet. We still got one more in us. Oh, man.
When did Thump close? Like, I remember leaving there a couple of times at like 7:30 in the morning, and they were still going.
Oh, do you mean like when did it close?
Like
when it ran?
Yeah.
Sometime. Generally, it was between 9 and 10 in the morning.
That sounds about right. Because I remember one time we were there until close, like, and we were all leaving when everybody was leaving. That sounds about right.
Yep.
That vague memory is coming back to me.
Yeah, that shit stayed open for a long ass time. Like, that was one of those places where it's like, oh, we could go to the End Up, and it's like, or we could just stay here, and by the time they close, we'll be done. Get out your last tabs, kids. One more time up. Oh, my God.
Drink all the water.
Oh, holy shit, yeah. Holy fucking shit. All right, man. I should let you go like I said I was gonna like an hour ago.
Yeah.
All right. And to the rest of y'all out there, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno. Remember, Satan and I love y'all very, very much. And don't forget to wash your ass, because shit don't change until you do that.
And don't take a shit in front of the window. Don't do it.